clean piece of paper. We'll name the components. These aren't very tight at all. We'll give it a little scratch tight that would have gone into the engine. It's hard to show that on camera. Basically like a screwdriver, and then we can do the fine tweaks to each. And I can't go wrong. Going down there, draw back slightly, a little warped in places. Then of course matching the indentation on the diaphragm there brings the plate down evenly. And which one goes in where? Well, we knew, didn't we? I'm really glad to see you here on part 3. Enjoy. Welcome to the Repair Specialist channel, because knowledge is power. So, let's get to it. The carburetor, of course. But we're going to clean this out and give it a good service before we place it on. So let's do that now. Let's get a nice clean piece of paper for a surface for this. And we'll start to take it apart. We'll name the components. We'll explain what they do. We'll clean them. So first of all, what I'm going to do is give it a spray with some carburetor spray on the outside. And then give it a wipe. Get the pick in the cloth and get into these areas. That's okay. Right, so we'll start by taking off this lid here. Then we can get in and see inside the carb and clean inside. We can see there we need a Phillips head. Got a screwdriver here. These aren't very tight at all. What we're going to do before we just lift this cap off is just make a note of which way it goes around. So we can either do that by looking at these pipes here and associating it with these linkages, let's say, or we can do something to make it a little simpler for us. So what I propose we do is, if we look at the top here, we'll give it a little scratch, just a little tiny scratch. It's not damaging anything. Then below that, we'll give that a scratch. Give a scratch on the side of this. So now we've got to line those up when we come to put it back together. These aren't any particular critical surfaces, any machine surfaces or anything like that, so it won't harm them to be scratched in this way. It'll just give us a point at which we need to put this back together. So we'll take this off. This is a little tight. There we go. Okay, so in order to separate these two, there's a screw here that we need to undo. Again, it's a Phillips head. We'll remove that. Now, if we take a look in here, this is the fuel pump diaphragm, and this is the fuel pump gasket. This is the metering diaphragm. This goes underneath the plastic part, and the fuel pump diaphragm goes above it. So let's take a look at these components. The first thing I've noticed here is this debris here in this metal strainer filter. So it's been working away, filtering out the debris. So that goes to show what's been filtered out here that would have gone into the engine. So we'll take that out and we'll clean it. Okay, all I've done is poke through there and it's just popped out. So we'll clean that in a minute. If we take a look at the lid, we've got the fuel pump diaphragm and we've got the fuel pump gasket that's contacting the lid. So when we put these things back together, the fuel pump gasket goes onto the lid first and then the fuel pump diaphragm. Obviously we'll sort that out in a minute. So these gaskets, especially if they've been on there for a while, if they don't need replacing, the best thing to do is to leave them there, because you can damage them getting them off. They can stick to the lid. This does feel like it's stuck to the point that if I was to peel that off, it would ruin it. And I wasn't going to replace these unless I really had to. So what I'm inclined to do here is to clean all this up and make sure everything's okay with the gasket and the diaphragm, clean out the carb and then put it back together. Okay, if we look at the main carb body here, this is the metering diaphragm and that sits on top of the metering gasket. So the diaphragm does not touch the main body first, the gasket does. I say that because in the comments section, a few people have said, no, you put the diaphragm on to the metal body first and then you put the gasket on top of that. You don't. On these carburetors anyway, you put the gasket on first and then the diaphragm fits on top of the gasket. I'm going to take out the metering lever and the metering needle, and I'm going to take out the fuel adjustment screws so I can make sure that everything's clean inside and I can blow through with my carburetor cleaner and make sure all the little fuel ways in there are nice and clean. So let's start by taking off the metering lever. In order to do that, we'll remove that little screw there. That's a Phillips headed screw. It's very tight, this one. There we go. The lever is there. And then we've got the tiny metering spring. And then there's the metering needle. If we can just sneak it past the gasket there. Yeah, it's coming through. There. There's the metering needle. What we'll do whilst we've got the metering needle off, we'll take a look. You have to look very closely at the end, and it's hard to show that on camera. But if there's any wear on there, like a small ring around it, then it will need to be replaced. Or if there's a different coloured ring, if you can see there, the colour's like a grey colour. And what you normally find, if there's any wear, it changes colour in a little tiny ring around it, because it will have worn off the grey surface colour and exposing the colour underneath there, which then shows the technician that it needs replacing. But this one's absolutely fine. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the fuel adjuster screws. This one does require a special tool to do so. I do have these tools because I do use them and adjust these types of carburetor quite frequently. But of course, if you didn't have these tools, then it would be a case of cleaning this up as best as you can without having to remove them, or of course purchasing the right tools. But I will remove them just to show you how I do so, how I clean them, and how I make sure I put the right screws back in the correct screw holes. Okay, so this is the tool. It's basically like a screwdriver, but the end there is this shape. It's splined. So it fits over those little splined heads. And I can unscrew them. I can see a little L there and a little H there. So I'm going to take out the L first. I'm going to keep that to the right. So now the H. Okay, there we go. I'll keep them up the top, just slightly out of the way. There I will put L, there I'll put H, so I know which is which just for now. Now what I'm going to do is compare them completely. Now we can see by looking at these very, very closely that they look almost identical. There are some subtle differences though. If we look at the L, it's longer for a start. It's got this sleeve on it here, longer sleeve, and the end is much narrower than the H. So I'm going to make some associations here so I really don't forget. Because the L screw is longer, I'm going to just say it in this situation, L for long. So if these get mixed up now, I'm okay, aren't I? Because L for long. Let's have a look. There, I know which is the L. It's this one, longer. Okay, I'm not saying all the L screws and all machines are longer. I'm making this association for this particular machine and I can't go wrong now. So I can put them to one side. Right, let's have another visual check around the carb. Are these butterflies, these plates working? Yeah, take a look at this one. Yeah, they're working fine. The springs are working fine. All seems well with the mechanisms. Yeah. This is the idling screw, otherwise known as T-screw, I-screw, whatever. This is the screw that sets the idling speed. We can remove that if we want, but there's no great benefit because this screw doesn't go through into the carburetor to allow any fuel through any passages. It just operates this lever here. By screwing the screw inwards, the wider point here of the screw will contact this lever and open it like that, which will open the plate there, the little throttle plate. And then screwing it out means that the wider part of this screw will move away from this lever. The lever will go inwards and it will close the plate. So I'm going to leave that there where it is. But what I really want to do is to make sure that these fuel ways going down there from the metering system where the metering needle goes, and I want to make sure the fuel ways here, where the fuel adjuster screws go, that they are nice and clean, along with the tiny jets that come out into the induction tube here of the carburetor, that they are clean. So what I'm going to do is get my carburetor spray, and I'm just going to get the pipe there down in these holes and make sure we can see spray coming out. Okay, if you look there, I'll press. See that we've got spray coming out of here, so that's clear. We'll do it now in the adjuster screw holes. See it coming out here. Yeah, that's clear. Now do the hole. Yeah, that's clear. See it coming out there. Yeah, I think that's nice and clear. Well, we'll give that another wipe down then we'll start to rebuild it. Okay, so now I'm going to put back in the metering needle, the metering lever and the spring. So first of all, what I'm going to do is get the metering needle and place that in first into the hole on its own. Okay, so in it goes. It's just gone past the gasket there, okay. And then I take the metering spring and place that in its rightful place there, in that little hole there. So it'll sit there happily. Then I'll take the metering lever and put in the pin. Okay, so the pin's in. And I'll take a look there and I can see the orientation the pin needs to be in. See there, there's less pin this side than this side because this side holds the pin in place using the screw. So I'll put less pin this side than this side. Then, facing the front part down, I'll make sure that I bring the lever down onto the top of the spring in this area here. That there with a little circular indentation. I'll make sure that the top of the spring fits directly under there. So we'll go in like that. And now that the spring is contacting underneath that point I've just said, I'll then draw back slightly, and the forked point at the top, I'll dig down further, and then I'll push it forward in the correct position there on the metering needle there, and then I'll push down. Okay, so you can see now it's in the right place in the crevice of the metering needle. The pin is in the right place and I'm pushing it down, but you can see the spring underneath is in the right place. So now I'm holding it there. And then I'll take the little tiny retaining screw and place it around about the rightful place there. Yes, it will flop around, but we'll get the screwdriver and touch it on the top. And normally a screwdriver has a magnetic charge to something so small as this screw. So it's holding it in place for me. So I'll just then use that to put it in its rightful place and then turn it, making sure we don't cross thread it. Now that's all in its rightful place, and we just need to make sure this is tight now. Okay, so I know I said earlier I didn't want to take this gasket off because I didn't want to risk any damage to it. But because I want to set this lever precisely at the height it should be, I will take this off, but I'll be very cautious in doing so. This side's slightly off anyway, but we'll gently pull it with my nails like that. Okay, so that's come off actually okay, and there's no damage whatsoever. So the back of the lever then, I want to set that at the right height. With this particular type of carburettor, the top of the lever has to be at the same level as these parts of the carburettor body. So how do we find that out? We'll just get a straight edge like a screwdriver or this pick and put it across like that from one end to the other. And we can see when we do that, that the top of the lever is exactly where I want it to be. It's about that level. If the lever was too low, we'd simply put this pick underneath or a screwdriver and pry it upwards to bend this metal up. If it was too high, then we'd put something at the front like this pick or a screwdriver and then push down at the back of the lever to bend the metal down. This is exactly where it wants to be though. Okay, it's time to rebuild then. But the question is, I've took this off, how do we find out which way round is the correct way to put on here? Well, we know, don't we, because we've just took it off, that the gasket does indeed go on first. Now, all we've got to do is match holes. So let's have a look here. So we'll match the 4 main holes, and then if we look at the other holes, like here, 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 they're obviously there for some reason. So there should be a hole inside the carburettor body, which this isn't aligned to. So let's turn it the other way around. There we go, we've got the holes here that are aligned to the other holes. So this is the exact right way to be. What if you got it the wrong way round like this? The holes do match up. Well, some of them do. That matches up, that matches up. This one doesn't. I know that one does, but there's one here that doesn't match up. Also, we can soon get it right if we look at the indentations on the actual gasket itself. If we look on this side, we can see it's flatter, suggesting it's sat on this flat surface. And it's got this little part here where it hasn't sat on the surface, which fits in there. And we've got these areas on here, and we've got these indentations on the top here and all on here, which suggest that they've been contacting this face here. You see there, all these lines, these structures, we've got them on here. So we know this side of the gasket is going to face up because this is going to go on top of it. So that's in the right place. Okay, so now we've got the metering diaphragm. There's no rips or tears in this diaphragm. Admittingly, it does look a little warped in places, and it's a little stiff, but we'll try it and I can soon change that if I need to. So all we do is match up the holes again. Okay, so next I want to clean up this plate. This side is for the metering system, this side is for the fuel pump system, and I want to make sure that these little holes are free. Just give it a wipe. And I've got the strainer filter here. We'll give that a spray. Clean that out. Okay, that's nice and clean. Put it back in like this with my thumb. Place it in. And there it is. Making sure it's down enough that the top of the strainer filter here is at least level with the plastic body. And it is. You could even put it down a little further if you wish. That's absolutely fine. And we'll just clean up inside here. Just give it a spray. A wipe, and then we'll place in the diaphragm. Of course, you can't get this wrong again because of the shape of the diaphragm. Any other way just wouldn't fit. So it's this way around. Then of course matching the indentation on the diaphragm there with the indentation here on the lid, place that on. With the gasket and the diaphragm in there, we then put the retainer screw back in here. Not too tight, not slack. There we go. Okay, let's bring this forward then. And remember what we did a scratch out here on the top and on the body there, so it goes on this way. And then the retaining screws back in. Tighten them up. I do it in opposites like this. It brings the plate down evenly. The metering system's all back in place. What we need to do now is place back in the fuel adjuster screws. So here they are, and which one goes in where? Well, we knew, didn't we? L for long. So we'll put the long one in the hole labelled L, and we'll gently screw it right in with our special tool. Okay, till it stops. Not forcing it after, but just till it comes to a stop. And we know this is the H. Okay, gentle stop there. Then I'm going to screw counterclockwise out each one full turn. So that's half one on the L and half one on the H. That one full turn of each is a respectable enough setting to get the machine running initially, and then we can do the fine tweaks to each. Now it's ready to fit to the machine. I really hope you benefited from that. Don't miss part 4, it's coming very, very soon. Thank you for watching.